Yeah, so obviously we knew going to Ilkley were going to be a tricky fixture off your first loss of the season a couple of weeks before it. But result-wise, really good. 5 points, we scored 6 tries. At times looked sharp, and on Saturday, driving back, I were really happy with it, and I thought it's a good result to go to Ilkley. Score 40 points, get the 5 points, which leaves us 1 point, 2 points away from winning the league. So initial thoughts were really happy, but then reviewing the game back, I think it was Tuesday afternoon after John had sent some prompts, we actually were off in 1 or 2 areas, which sounds wild that you've beat the team that are 4th, scored 40 points, 6 tries, but you've actually got quite a few work-ons. Which is pleasing that we can beat teams without being perfect, but ultimately, maybe with what's on the horizon, if we can get the job done Saturday, we're not going to be able to leave a couple of areas out on the field where we're not happy with how we've performed and come away with 5 points. We're going to pay for that. So it's a good result in terms of the 5 points and the league points, but actually still quite a bit of learning to do from Saturday to take into these next 3 games. Yeah, York gave us a really tricky fixture away. Probably at that time a little bit unexpected, not because they're not a good side, but because of the form they'd shown through the first rounds of the season. And then the run of form they've been on since we last played them is pretty decent. I think they've managed to get a further 6 wins since we played them. Coming into that first game, I think they'd got 1. And they're going to come for us. There's been battles the last couple of seasons. Last year, two games that we managed to get on the right side of, but they weren't easy. And there's that little bit of history, probably dating back to Yorkshire 1. Some of their boys have been around since those days. A couple of our boys have too. There's a lot of pride at stake on Saturday, and also it's really important for them this game on Saturday because the 2 teams below them play Cleckheaton in their last 2 games, who are obviously relegated, are struggling a little bit and stuff. And Cleck don't roll over for anybody, but York will probably be planning the last couple of weeks of the season with those boys having 5 points, and if they get the 5 points, that'll drag York into it if they don't get anything from us and Ilkley in their last 2 games. So they're going to come for us, and we're ready for that. Obviously, as I said, we've had a lot of learning from that Ilkley game that we're hoping to put into practice against York on Saturday. By no means do we think it's a foregone conclusion. They'll be coming down, and they've got ultimately nothing to lose but to gain more respect by giving us a close game and trying to turn us over again. And the tighter they can make it during the game and that go longer, deeper into the game, we saw away from home, they were getting energy and they were getting sort of a bounce from every little thing that went their way. We expect them to be the same on Saturday. So we've got to match their level of sort of emotion, their level of energy, and not get bogged down in that fight that they'll probably want to make it, because that's what they did really well at their place. And then the Hawks have got equally a tricky game, Wath away. I think they put 100 points on Keighley in their last outing. I think they're 2nd or 3rd in the league, a team that the Hawks are likely to have to deal with in the playoffs when the league's done, so they'll probably want to go over there and put a marker down. They've got a good strong side out both in terms of the pack and the backs, and then an expanding bench as the text messages come in with availability, so they'll be going over there looking to bounce back. Obviously they didn't get the opportunity last week with Ilkley pulling the game on the Friday night. A wrong to be righted for them, as well as a big fixture as they head into their last couple of games. Obviously, Wath on Saturday, Huddersfield, and then the playoffs that follow. So they need to put the best foot forward this weekend. Yeah, 350. Wow, it's a good knock, isn't it? Especially when you're packing down in the front row for all 350 of those. What do you say about Chris? Because those 350 games come with everything else that he does. So 350 first team games in isolation is an unbelievable achievement. Some of the boys in the changing rooms every week when they open the programme and see that he's approaching that 350, some of them want to know exactly where about 50 to 70 of them have come from. They seem to think that he adds an appearance on for every point he scored or every minute at certain times. A few boys have questioned it, but I'm sure Chris can account for all 350 of them. But when you take his whole package, like he's out every Tuesday, Thursday for a good hour before and probably longer, coaching the junior teams. He's down on Sunday mornings. I think on one of the club videos that's on YouTube, he sits in this room and says about the club being family, and he properly embodies that. Everything you want from a clubman, Chris brings. You know, it is his family, his passion, his determination, his commitment. He's putting the body on the line for each of those 350 games. It's remarkable, and hopefully we can give him that massive sort of memory of his 350th game being the one that clinches the league title on Saturday. So there's a bit of emotional energy for us there, really, to get back. Busy week. You know, you play 21 games throughout the season, and then you find yourself doubling up in April at the end of all that. But yeah, what a wonderful opportunity if the boys can get things right for 2 sets of 80 minutes to win the league on Saturday and then go and get the double done Wednesday night against Sandal. That's going to be tricky because we're expecting a really hard 80 minutes on Saturday, and then you've got to back up in a cup final, so it's emotional energy again. It's an opportunity for Sandal to get one over us this year, having us won the 2 league fixtures and scored quite a few points over the course of the season. So it'll be a test of how our bodies recover ready for Wednesday, and also if we can raise ourselves for another big game. We've had quite a few back-to-back, thinking about Alnwick, Ilkley, York on Saturday, and then you've got to go Sandal midweek. It's sort of a test of how many times can the boys go to the well at the end of a tough, hard season where they've been drilled in training on getting better, and they've probably got one eye on that rest in May and June, and you've got to double up and go back into a cup final. But what an opportunity. The club's never won the Yorkshire Cup before. I think Sandal have. So they've maybe got a bit more history in the competition than us, but yeah, a massive opportunity to do something that no side from the club's ever done, and probably very few in the county have ever done in terms of winning a cup and winning the league as well. So massive, and I back the boys to grasp it with both hands and write their names in. Yeah, so the under-7s, I think it's the second time in about 3 weeks where they've ended up playing a year up, where fixtures have been arranged as under-8 fixtures, and then when we've got down on the Saturday, we've had enough under-7s to run a team separate. So they were playing a year up. Lads like Rory McFadden actually playing 2 years up, but you wouldn't have known it other than the size difference. And they're great to watch, the under-7s and 8s, because if you come down on a Thursday, in between the drills and the things that they're doing, they're off looking at whatever's on the floor, they're pushing each other over and behaving like 6, 7 and 8-year-old kids should. But the second they go onto the field, they're both really, really good teams, and they focus, they're really good defensively. After the tags, they're learning now to go forward, and when they get tagged, to turn and pass the ball quickly. So it's really impressive, and I suppose it's a shame really that the season's going to end and they'll have that break, because you can see week on week and game on game that they're getting really better, and just some of those habits that Ian and Ollie are drilling with them are really having an impact on Saturday. So I think for anybody who's maybe down for the Kendal game, if you get down a little bit earlier, I think they're playing Rishes from round the corner, so if you make the effort to get down a little bit earlier, you'll be able to see them in practice, which will be really good for them, and see what Ian and Ollie do.